Well, let's talk about this craziness. I swear to you, it was the first time I saw it live. An absolutely memorable performance with some very surprising skills as a goalkeeper. Honestly, because he's good at a lot of things. Well, he actually reminds me, on one hand, of the miraculous saves and reflexes of Casillas, which was Casillas' best quality, and on the other hand, of Courtois. And he's an absolute beast. This kid in goal, from what I've seen today, and from what they say about Javi Navarro, who led Real Madrid to the Youth League final, he's had an incredible year, and that's just how he is. Well, incredible. We'll see the 3 saves in the penalty shootout in a moment, but also the penalties this guy saved, the penalties he saved. And another very interesting thing, we had never heard him before. Estrada Fernández has only been here for 2 nights. What? And one thing apparently yesterday, what he shared is what the legal services of what Real Madrid's legal team told the judge. I mean, this wasn't said by the judge. Good thing that in last night's video, I said, I'm not completely sure that this is in the judge's own handwriting, but that's what Javier Estrada Fernandez was hinting at, what he was implying. Well, that's that. I insist, as I said in last night's video, many of you have already seen it, and I appreciate it. We have to trust both in the criminal process, even though many people no longer trust it. And in this new one, the administrative discipline is off the table since they let it expire, but the ethical route remains, as I mentioned in every video. What Juan Luis Martín de Pozuelo, Ricardo Ramos Nera, and company have started to do, and we're there supporting as much as we can. Another thing is very important. And there's also talk about a movement. Yes, the one we all know about, FIFA and UEFA, Real Madrid, which we'll talk a little more about in the next video. But what Fabian Estrada Fernandez says here, and we'll see it at the end of this video, is something that, well, is obvious, absolutely obvious. But I had never heard him say this before. I don't know when this ABC interview was, but it's very good and very illustrative because the Barcelona-Negreira case has many ramifications. But this thing with the son comes in to coach some referees, and that was another element of pressure on the referees from Enrique Negreira. Although the son has distanced himself from the father, etc. Well, what has been told by one of the protagonists from that time, a referee like Fabian Estrada Fernandez, or former referee, now referee back then, is very relevant, very significant. But before anything else, we'll get to that at the end. Let's see the incredible thing this guy did in the penalty shootout. Wait, before that, there's one here. There are a couple of saves, especially this one. Hold on. Esta. This one he makes against Paris Saint-Germain when Paris Saint-Germain was winning. Look at this one. What a save with his foot to that shot at the near post, which is really difficult. Extremely difficult, because the goalkeeper, which is one of the qualities a goalkeeper must have, is knowing which side he's going to dive to. When he's going to dive with his body to try to reach with his hands, he has to have the other side under control. Con las piernas, or to stretch his legs in case the striker chooses that option. And here he has both posts covered. The way he makes himself big and then has the reflexes to stretch out that leg to block the shot from the Paris Saint-Germain player is almost miraculous. Then he has another one here. Wait, let's see. This one. Well, he's had several. And I even missed one, which was also really good. But these are incredible. That's it. Making himself big. This really reminded me of Courtois Macho. Well, I'll even tell you, like I said at the beginning, about that Casillas who came in with... Then Casillas, of course, has his ups and downs. But, well, Casillas was a miraculous goalkeeper. No one can deny that. Then he had some terrible rushes off his line. I mean, bad ones, dealing with balls in the air and all that. But he had these things. He went all in. He didn't care if the ball hit him in the face or not. In fact, there's a very famous photo of Casillas playing with Real Madrid's reserve team where he blocks a shot with his face, right? It's true that as goalkeepers get older and all, it's like what happens with motorcyclists. They start getting a bit more scared. Maybe they become fathers or just get older, but when they're young, they're real daredevils, right? You can really see that in this guy. This is an amazing save. He's had more. Well, here are the penalties, which we'll see better here. The penalty kicks, where are they? Here. about the penalties, but also what 3 ways to stop 3 penalties, each one more difficult than the last. For me, the last one is the easiest, though still complicated. But look at this one. Madrid had missed 2 of its 3, while PSG had scored both of its 2. I mean, it was a shootout that normally you would lose. Remember, this was the Youth League semifinals. Pay attention. Pay attention to the amazing save he makes here. Well, I mean, going up there, the penalty is well taken. Maybe it would be un poquito mejor tirado si la shoot a bit higher, right? When it's aimed at the top corner, it's tough for goalkeepers to reach. But since before shooting, he's already leaning, it happens PSG, 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 the goalkeeper. In many cases, actually in almost all, the goalkeeper can't wait to see the ball come out. He already has to start diving to one side, right? But that's what they're there for. Pues you know about that soccer player, how he takes them, the gestures he makes, the way he runs up to the ball. That also comes a bit from the experience of watching opponents take penalties, right? And here he chooses the right side. But then you can dive to one side, but then you have to get there. You have to reach up here. I mean, when you're already horizontal and you reach up there, that's really something else we're talking about here. Well, the next one is the one that blows my mind. This one. Same side, huh? Same side, he stopped 3 straight. Paris Saint-Germain's first 2 takers scored, and he's blocked 3 in a row, each save better than the last. Look at this one. Let's play a little bit of David Alvarez here. It's really cool. Look. Well, this one, yes, this is amazing. It's like the other one, but even higher. Maybe it's not as far into the corner as the other one, huh? Because, well, obviously, if he had hit it perfectly right there into the top corner, neither he nor anyone else could have stopped it, right? But how does he get his opposite hand up there? This is the opposite hand. I mean, a goalkeeper who handles it perfectly, huh? In those milliseconds, right? Which hand to choose depending on how high the ball is coming in. I mean, I don't know. I see a lot of qualities in this guy. And then the last one who stops it, the last one, remember his face, Javi Navarro. I mean, he was born in 2007. The kid is 19 years old. I don't know if he's already turned 19 or not. I'm not sure if he's turned 19 yet. I think I have his age in the lineup here. Incredible. Okay, the last one. This guy, for me, he's the most stoppable. I mean, he's the most stoppable. He's the easiest one, even though they're all tough, of course, out of the 3. But the thing is, of course, this one goes low, and I would say it's almost more angled than the other one. Although down low, it's true that it doesn't go right to the base of the post. It doesn't go there. But it's the same. When going to one side is working out for you, then deciding to go for the other one. I remember Oblak in the 2016 final, the 11th, the one we won against Atleti. The second one we won against Atleti, everyone went to one side. And Oblak only knew how to dive to the other side. Oblak is a great goalkeeper because honestly, he really is. He really is. Hey, this guy, man, no, incredible, impressive. There's talent coming up, huh? New talent is emerging. Like I said, when it comes to young talent, Javi Navarro has already turned 19. I don't have enough time to watch Real Madrid's youth academy, but that's why I started working with Quique Recio, because he watches them a lot. And he's always told me about, Fortea, Testero, Yanez, and so on. And of course, we've already seen many of them this year with the first team. Hey, what we saw from that kid, Valdepeña, was really interesting. Aguado, too, not to mention John Martinez, who's an amazing prospect, Fortea. Just look, the goalkeeper and the youth academy. Testero, who Arbeloa already talked about, saying he was the best number 6 in Spain and all that. Well, it's clear that Pitarch has gotten a bit ahead of him there, but that's what I'll get into in the next videos. We have to count on these guys no matter what for the future. You always have to count on the youth academy, but this year more than others, I mean, is there a new generation coming? Damn, well, I think so. And, well, this Ziria guy, the left winger from Madrid, they say he's amazing. We just signed him, if I'm not mistaken, not long ago. We've already seen Yanez. Well, wonderful. On top of that, we knocked out PSG. Of course, let's hope the same thing doesn't happen to Gonzalo. For me, what happened to Gonzalo, as Guillermo Rey from Athletic was saying today, Guillermo has good information and I respect him a lot. I met him in person. He's a great guy. If he says this, it's because that's how things are going. Real Madrid plans to sell, so Hendrik will return from his loan at Lyon. if Guillermo said this, which I think he did, Madrid Sports is a source that usually echoes things without ever lying, at least as far as I've seen, about what certain people say. Estas que están ahí en la interna, ¿no? Players at the club, they're aware that they're missing a physical striker and finisher like Jose Luis, and they might look for one in the market. I've even heard people mention Muriqi. Just imagine. You say to look in the market, but this guy has already proven himself. He was the Club World Cup's top scorer and scored 3 goals against Betis Beatty this year. It's true that later on, well, maybe he hasn't been there in other matches either, but the thing is, this guy has been given very few opportunities. Very few. He hasn't had a consistent run of games. And we're not talking about Ronaldo Nazario, because there's only one Ronaldo Nazario, but we're talking about a player who can fill Jose Luis's role perfectly. We've been saying it for a long time, but the thing is, well, Vinicius and Mbappe want to play everything, and you can't substitute them because we've reached a point where you just can't take them off. So that's where the problem is. That's where the problem is. Look, I want Hendrik to come back, of course, absolutely. It would have been, if that's the case, a bit unfair to Gonzalo. Well, to wrap up, the issue with Xavier Estrada Fernández. Here we have it. Pay attention to how he talks about Negreira's son and the coaching with the referees.
A vice president who has all the power within the committee, who has all the information about the referees from First Division, Second Division, Second B, assistant referees, fourth officials. And when I say all, I mean the reports from each of the matches. And on top of that, in 2009, because his son had already been working with the previous technical director, Diaz Vega, who was already arranging videos and so on for the refereeing seminars, on top of everything else. In 2009, he put his son in. Conflict of interest, just like we mentioned before, with CTA coaching, his son offers his services to different referees in the first and second division.
Back then, it was a conflict of interest, without knowing that Barca was already paying millions to Enrique Negreira
to do a follow-up. I was offered this up to 2 times, and I said no way, that my services were already more than covered with a great professional, and that I could never accept coaching from the son of a vice president. I didn't think it was normal or legal. And what's more, I understand that there are young referees who, when they get the offer from the son of a vice president, end up thinking, if I don't do it, maybe they'll demote me. If I do it, maybe they'll promote me, of course.
That's the heart of the matter with the coaching from the son. The thing is, damn, if the father is promoting the son, giving him coaching and all that, then a lot of young referees say, how is that going to work out better for me? Albero Las Rojas, damn, Albero Las Rojas, man. He was a young guy back then, you know? Of course. Negreira paid him a little over 7,000. And here he's explaining why. I mean, because these young referees thought maybe it was a good idea to do the coaching with him, because maybe they'd get promoted and things would go well for them. And others also thought, if I don't do it, maybe things will go badly for me and I'll get demoted. Because that guy's father was the one who had the power to decide whether you got promoted or demoted. In other words, whether you got paid the full amount or just half. Oh, God.
Even a third time, I had an assistant within the refereeing team who indirectly told me, Javier Enriquez told me that if you do coaching with him, you'll soar.
And I told him, that's really serious, man. That's really serious. I choose that you're going to fly, of course. It can be understood in 2 ways, right?
And my answer was, it doesn't make me fly. The story is that we were on a plane because we were going to a European match. I haven't refereed a World Cup final, nor do I want to if I don't deserve it. Not even a Champions League final, nor do I want to if I don't deserve it. Not even the Olympics. I don't want it if I don't deserve it.
Well, and that's where this excerpt they've shared ends. Well, very revealing. Very, very, very revealing. Mind you, something else is just as revealing, and this is a bonus track. Remember the last video? Tebas and Laporta hugging and everything. In fact, apparently Tebas told the media, no, Laporta is doing better and better with the economic issues and all that. Do you remember this conversation? And what? And he told me Laporta's election campaign here on Gigantes, as the Viking would say with Gerard Romero, pay attention to what he said about how La Liga was going to handle Barca's numbers.
It must be hard to get things done earlier, since today is the 13th, 14th. He said, what? And he said, what did he tell me? What's up? He told me. And he said, what's up? Financially guaranteed, beyond Javier Tebas's commitment that obviously the numbers can be looked at in a very critical way or in a very friendly way. We know that Javier Tebas intends to look at Barca's numbers in a friendly way, but be careful, Barca's numbers still have to add up. If they don't add up, Javier won't work miracles either. And on the other hand, we have Real Madrid, which, well...
They were going to add up. He was going to look at them very kindly to see what he would say. Madrid, here.
Very clever, is trying to disqualify Javier Tebas, knowing that Javier Tebas wants to look kindly at FC Barcelona's numbers. Notice that everything is really outrageous.
Isn't Madrid terrible? By the way, it's really bad. Madrid has been trying since day one. Not because things were going badly for Barca financially or because they thought Javier Tebas. Madrid has been trying for a long time now, for years, to get Javier Tebas out of there. And what has Barca done? Even though they could have, they kept this last complaint in a drawer because they know that if they pull the trigger, they won't get certain things from Javier Tebas. We've seen it before in the hugs and kisses, haven't we? If you haven't seen the previous video, go watch it. I'll return to that topic, or else this one's too long. Honestly, I'm a bit lazy, but we're still at it. We're still at it. Sometimes I think, man, it's the same thing every day, you know? It can get frustrating because, seriously, enough already. I mean, a guy who quadrupled the payments to a vice president in charge of refereeing, and then the other guy, Tebas, comes out the next day and says, no, Barca hasn't been sanctioned because he talks like that. Because, how did he say it? Oh, because this is time barred. And then he said, for me, there was definitely an attempt to influence the competition. And the fact that he has appeared in the case as a prosecuting party means that they believe there is sporting corruption on Barcelona's part. You might think he joined the case mainly to gather information, more than for anything else, since they're not accusing Barca of anything and barely question Laporta when they have the chance. I'm not sure if it was the Federation or the League who asked the question or not, right? It's all really obscene, man. All right, see you next time. Take care. Thanks for being there.